You said something recently that was quite provocative. You said that China was winning the AI race, the AI competition. I know that you've got a powerful, competitor in Huawei, and Huawei has a lot of advantages you don't have. Why don't you describe this competition? Are we really losing?
It was a very good headline.
It was a great headline, yeah.
And apparently caught up a lot of attention. As you know, with headlines, the disclaimer part, the foundation part was left out of the headline. But the way to think about that is that let me just handicap it right now. If you look at AI and go back to the first thing that we said, AI is a 5-layer cake. Let's just always simplify. It's not quite this simplistic, but let's simplify AI into a 5-layer cake. Energy, chips, infrastructure, models, and applications. Okay? And let's handicap it across from bottom to top. At the lowest level, energy, China has twice the amount of energy we have as a nation.
I want to ask about that.
Twice as much energy as we have as a nation, and our economy is larger than theirs. Makes no sense to me. We also know that one of the most important initiatives, one of the most important policies of this administration, and that was the first thing that President Trump said to me when we met, is listen, we need to reindustrialize America. We need to onshore manufacturing again. We need to help America make things again. It's going to create jobs. That part of the economy has been offshored, and completely gutted the United States. We need to bring that back, and he needs my help to do so. And so that entire sector of the economy is missing. And however, without energy, how do we build chip plants, computer system plants, and these AI data centers? We call them AI factories. We're building simultaneously 3 different types of factories in the United States: chip factories, supercomputer factories, and AI factories. They all require energy, every single one of them. Yeah. And so on the one hand, we want to reindustrialize the United States. How do you do that without energy? And so the fact that we vilified energy for so long, President Trump sticking his neck out and taking it on the chin and helping the country realize that energy is necessary for our growth is one of the greatest things he's done right off the bat. And so now, at the energy level, back to that stack, we're 50%, and they're growing straight up. We're kind of flat right now. And so, number 1, energy. Number 2, chips. We're generations ahead. We are generations ahead on chips, and I think everybody recognizes that. Number 3, infrastructure. If you want to build a data center here in the United States, from breaking ground to standing up a AI supercomputer is probably about 3 years. They can build a hospital in a weekend. That's a real challenge. And so at the infrastructure layer, their velocity of building things, because they are builders, their velocity of building things is extraordinarily high. Now, really quickly on chips, we're several generations ahead, but don't be complacent. Remember, semiconductors is a manufacturing process. Anybody who thinks China can't manufacture is missing a big idea.
But China discounts energy costs for a chip company by 50%.
That's right.
They provide free transportation for employees to come out to the factory.
That's right.
I mean, you can't do that. I mean,
our energy cost is more expensive than theirs in the first place.
Absolutely.
And then they discounted 50%. And so we're probably call it 4 to 8 times the cost.
So tell me, how do you feel about this great competition with China? I mean, the government is putting enormous resources underneath their champion. We don't do that in this country. How do you feel about that?
Well, before I get there, don't let me not answer that question. I'm dying to answer it. But let me handicap the next 2 layers. the model layer, United States frontier models, our frontier models are unquestionably world-class. We are probably, call it 6 months ahead. However, out of the 1.4 million models, most of them are open source. China is well ahead, way ahead on open source. Now, the reason why open source is so important is because without open source, startups can't thrive, university researchers can't do research, you can't teach AI, scientists can't use AI. Basically, all of the industry around your economy have no ability to fundamentally advance themselves unless you have open source. Without Linux, where would we be? Without Kubernetes, without PyTorch, all of these different types of technologies that made AI thrive are all open source. They are well ahead of us on open source. And then the layer above that, applications. If you were to do a poll of their society and ours, and you ask them, is AI likely to do more good than harm? They're going to say, in their case, 80% would say AI will do more good than harm. In our case, it'd be the other way around. And so that tells you something that's very, very important. Socially, we need to be careful not to describe AI in these science fiction movie ways of describing AI and causing people so much concern. We want to be concerned, but we also want to be practical. AI is about automation. And that area, I think that we need to be careful not to fall behind in the application and the diffusion of AI, because in the end, whoever applies the technology first and most wins that industrial revolution. As you know, electricity was invented in the UK, but the United States applied it faster, more broadly, and as a result, look where we are. And so we have to be a little mindful. And so anyways, I just handicapped that stack, okay? Yeah. And I don't think it's important when you're looking at AI, not to see it as a holistic thing. It's really not about ChatGPT versus DeepSeek. You have to look at it across all of the stacks and across all of the industries. Does that make sense? It's a little bit more complicated than one simple answer.
But do you feel you have a level playing field up against China putting their resources under Huawei?
First of all, America's technology industry, just as our financial services industry, our military, our technology industry, we can all agree, are the mightiest in the world. I am part of one of the mightiest industries anyone in history has ever seen. Oh. We have, going toe-to-toe against anyone, the American technology industry has nothing to fear. We are mighty, we're fast, we're inventive, we'll take anybody on. However, we can't concede the market to them. As you know, at the moment, Nvidia has been banned from going to China. Not to mention, China has banned Nvidia going to China. Yeah. So we're I think we're the first company in history that has been banned on both sides. And so whoever banned us going to China, them and China agree that Nvidia should not go to. Now, of course, I'm being a little cute here, and I'll be a little bit more nuanced here in a second. But at the moment, we're simply not competing in China. Now, what's going on? We have conceded essentially the second largest AI market, the second largest technology market in the world. I know. China will. It's not. Somebody has said to me, "Well, yeah, okay, well, we're not in China, but we're going to grow somewhere else. You're not going to replace China." It's just as the world wanting to sell to America and they want to export to America. If they don't export to America, you're not going to replace the United States. We are singular in the world. We are absolutely singular. And so in the case of China, we shouldn't concede the entire market to them. They're formidable, but conceding that entire market, we ought to go compete for it. Having said that, we should also acknowledge that Huawei is one of the most formidable technology companies the world has ever seen. They deserve, although they have a lot of support, whatever support they have, they deserve all of the respect that everybody ought to give them. We compete with this company. They're formidable. They're agile. They move incredibly fast. We said if United States was not in China, China's AI industry would be set back.
Yeah.
Absolutely has not happened. As a result, their semiconductor industry has double. You know, the semiconductor industry in the West, around the world, is growing at 20, 30% per year. Growing 20, 30% per year compounded versus doubling every year compounded doesn't take long to catch up.
But, you know, they're starting on second base and we're just going up to the batter's box. You know, they've got a real advantage. And that means we need to think about this. Can I ask you, we, at the G20 summit, Li Keqiang, you know, the premier was there and he was offering opportunities for countries to be participants with China on AI. And we didn't even send a delegation. It doesn't feel like we're in the game.
They're smart about technology proliferation.
Yeah.
If we use 5G as an example, they realize 5G is technology that's also a platform, because on top of 5G, you build all kinds of services on top of it. Well, if you get there first, wherever you get first, if you get there first, just as Nvidia, I was there 25 years first. And so I had, you know, for a long time, nobody paid me any, never mind. So I had lots and lots of time to build up all these ecosystems and applications and relationships and ecosystems. And yeah. I connected all this stuff together in all these different fields of industry. I had 25 years to do it. In the case of Huawei with 5G, they were completely, through policy, completely isolated, people thought, in China. So they had 1 billion phone users all to themselves. It gave them the opportunity to grow scale. They exported the technology to all of the countries of Belt and Road, and now there's AI Belt and Road. And so they'll definitely diffuse the Chinese technology as quickly as possible, because they understand that the sooner you get there, the sooner you build the ecosystem on top, the sooner you become you become essential part, a dependent part of that ecosystem.
Tell me about the Chinese ecosystem they're trying to create. Obviously, it's deep and it's robust, and it has a physical as well as a technological and economic dimension. How do you look at that?
Take a step back again. Remember, I think it's like 9 out of the 10 top science and technology schools in the world are now in China. They lead in science and technology in many different fields. This has completely flipped in the last half to a decade. We used to lead most of them. Now they lead most of them. They have a large population of highly qualified students. Absolutely. Number one. Number two, 50% of the world's AI researchers are Chinese. Third, 70% of last year's AI patents are published by China. The ecosystem of AI in China is vibrant, rich, incredibly innovative. They work incredibly hard. This is a country with an enormous might. So that is the ecosystem of software developers. Now, that layer, as I just mentioned, the model and the application layer. All of these scientists, they're sitting at the model and the application layer. And now they're going to take that capability, because the United States is no longer participating in China. We've left China. We're evacuated that market. We've conceded that market. And so now they've got to go build their own. So using these AI researchers, all of these incredible computer scientists that they have, their richness of software capability, and they're going to go build their own complete stack. Once they build that entire complete stack, they'll export it as quickly as you could imagine. And this is the world what we will find someday if we don't activate.
We'll be buyers, not sellers.
That's right.
Let me ask you now. You're in Washington, D.C. I know you don't look forward to those opportunities, but we're
It's my only opportunity to wear a suit
and a tie. But let me ask, because we're involved in something I've not seen before in my 45 years here. We've delved into industrial policy. I always thought industrial policy was something that we shouldn't be doing in this country. Now, the Biden administration decided that they would define what they would allow you to sell. And they have this thing that they call diffusion that they were trying to manage. Now you get the Trump administration. They don't have that, but they want a golden share and they want a percent of the cut, on how you're doing business. Tell me about how you look at this industrial policy that we have in Washington.
I do agree that industrial policy should intervene when a dramatic action needs to be taken. I also would say that President Trump walked into a situation where dramatic actions needed to be taken. The first dramatic action that needed to be taken is to reverse the mistakes that have been made in energy growth over the course of the last decade. We have done our country a great disservice. There are no new industries you can grow without energy.
No. Electricity.
That's right. We need electricity because otherwise, sure, we could all be in the services industry. And as you know, the service industry only needs calories. But manufacturing industry needs electricities. And so we need energy, number one. Number two, we do need, if we want to fix our social issues, domestic social issues, we have to create prosperity, not just for people with PhDs and college degrees. We have to create prosperity for every segment of the economy. And so the largest segment of the economy is manufacturing, and we've offshored that for too long, for 20 years. We have to bring that back, and we have the ability to do so. And this AI industrial revolution, this flashpoint, is precisely when we should do it, because it allows us, it created a company called Nvidia, made it possible for us to have such a large ecosystem of suppliers. We can encourage them to partner with us. We can encourage Taiwan to partner with us to help us reindustrialize the United States. And they've done so with great support. Taiwan really needs to have some acknowledgement for the incredible effort that they're putting in place to help us reindustrialize the United States. If not for the work that they're doing, the work that Nvidia has done in Arizona wouldn't have made the progress it has.
No.
I recently gave a congratulations speech at TSMC in Arizona, and when I looked out into the audience, it was 2/3 Taiwanese and 1/3 American. Arizona is practically, well, the quality of Taiwanese food in Arizona, let me just put it that the quality of Taiwanese food in Arizona has increased tremendously. Okay, you want to get a bowl of beef noodle soup, you're gonna do just fine. But all these young families from Taiwan came to help us stand up our factories, and so we should acknowledge that. And South Korea helping us stand up our memory manufacturing, we should acknowledge that. The companies Foxconn, Wistron, Amcor, Spill helping us set up systems manufacturing. They came from Taiwan. Really important. And so one, if not for the fact, the second industrial policy is to reindustrialize the United States. That, I think, is a fantastic initiative. And I'm all behind that. I was probably the first CEO jump behind that and take advantage of NVIDIA's capabilities and this flashpoint of AI industrial revolution to help bring all of that supply chain. I committed to my customers, my partners, that we're going to build in this administration within President Trump's term, $500 billion of AI supercomputers. And so that's the second part, energy growth, reindustrializing the United States. The third part that I think required a fair amount of discussion to help policymakers understand that technology leadership, American technology leadership, and American national security goes hand in hand. Our nation's extraordinary technology industry is part of our national security. The fact that we have our technology all over the world, that the world relies on to build their industries, their ecosystem, their economies, is an advantage for the United States. It's a strength of the United States. It helps keep the United States safe when everybody works with us.
Let me build on that.
Yeah.
I think national security, there are two dimensions of national security. And I differentiate small case and large case. Small case, national security, small n, small s. I think that's, aircraft carriers and bombers and divisions and training programs. Capital national security, NS, is the dynamism of your economy, the productivity of your industry, the creativity of your ideas industry, the sense of fairness in your judicial system. You are here, you benefit from that larger case, but you're building that larger national security industry. Tell us how you think about your role on national security.
Number one, NVIDIA was birthed in the United States. We are a proud American company. We're inventive, we're vibrant, we're at the center of the single most important industrial revolution in human history. This is an industrial revolution in every single way as important as electricity. We are going to impact every single industry, every single company. Every country will build it. Every company will use it. We export American technology wherever the United States would like us to export the American technology. This is an extraordinary opportunity for us to make a substantial contribution to our national security. We also know that national security and economic security and economic prosperity go hand in hand. The wealthier our nation, the more we can fund the mightiest military on the planet. And I do believe that it is the case where, because of this new industrial revolution that we've started, we are creating new factories in America. We're creating new jobs in America. And somebody recently told me that we contributed more to economic growth singularly than just about any company in the world today to the American economy. And I believe that that's probably true. And the reason for that is NVIDIA is a multi-$100 billion company supporting multi-$100 billion companies going after trillion dollars of industry. And so the economic prosperity, the technology leadership, unquestionable. The economic prosperity that we can contribute to, unquestionable. Now the question then becomes, how do we think through the diffusion of, the export of, the proliferation of American technologies and standards? We should, of course, number one, safeguard our national security, the little n, little s, to ensure that adversaries don't have access to sensitive technology or advanced technology that we don't need them to have access to. We should, number two, ensure that American companies, American technology companies, through partnership with us, have the benefit of the best and first But then after that, after number one and number two, we should also proliferate American technology standards, compete around the world, fuel this flywheel of funding our R&D so that we can continue to be the mightiest technology industry in the world, so that we can fund the mightiest military in the world. And all of that, I think, goes hand in hand.
Several times, Chairman Huang, you've talked about energy as being a pacing problem here. We, when we invented LED lighting, we just lost the demand signal, and half of our electricity grid is merchant supplier, and so they don't buy ahead of need. And so we're now really way behind. And you pointed out that China has built out twice the capacity of electricity than has the United States. How big a constraint do you see that as being for our build out for this revolution that you're trying to create?
Deeply serious. I think at this point, we have to use every form of energy we can. I believe we can't rely on the power grid. We got to build behind the meter. We obviously need power generation systems. There's no question we should try to encourage and try to accelerate nuclear. We need to have energy growth very, very shortly. In the meantime, we're advancing our technology so quickly. No company our scale has ever introduced new generations every year. And when I say we just ship a new chip every year, people, because there's so many gamers in the world and they've known me for so long, and when they think about what Nvidia built.
Pues ahí estamos escuchando al CEO de Nvidia, Jensen Huang, quien, por cierto, hoy Donald Trump hacía referencia a Jensen Huang diciendo que su iniciativa y sus proyectos de Nvidia están funcionando muy bien en Estados Unidos. Además, dicen que está ayudando a la política industrial. Jensen Huang acaba de decir que Estados Unidos cree que es la iniciativa fantástica y que va a aprovechar las capacidades de Nvidia en todo momento para conseguir esa revolución industrial para Estados Unidos. Además, ha hecho referencia a que la seguridad nacional va de la mano junto a la inteligencia artificial y la tecnología, y que es una fortaleza mantener a Estados Unidos seguro y que van a continuar trabajando con ellos, con Nvidia. Nosotros, mientras tanto, vamos a una información de última hora en lo que respecta a las tensiones entre Estados Unidos y Venezuela. Atención, porque el pollo Carvajal entrega a Donald Trump, al presidente de Estados Unidos, la confesión más explosiva jamás hecha por un alto mando del chavismo. Ha detallado 20 años de operaciones del cártel de los soles, su estructura de narcotráfico, espionaje y penetración política en Estados Unidos, con la participación directa de Maduro, Diosdado y apoyo de Rusia y Cuba. El ex jefe de la inteligencia venezolana ofrece delatar espías infiltrados, políticos comprados y redes de corrupción que involucran incluso a exfuncionarios del gobierno español. En ese documento de ABC ya puso en manos del público y que la Casa Blanca recibió minutos antes. El pollo Carvajal destapa ante Trump estas 2 décadas del cártel de los soles. Y otra información de última hora, estábamos escuchando las palabras de Donald Trump, enseguida las repetiremos porque afirma que han tenido una muy buena conversación en el Kremlin en cuanto a ese enviado especial de Estados Unidos a Witkoff y con Kushner también hablando con Vladimir Putin. Dicen que las conversaciones han sido muy buenas, al menos eso es lo que ha detallado Donald Trump. Pues información de última hora, vamos a conocer que se reunirán con el negociador de Ucrania en Miami durante este jueves. Es el asesor de seguridad nacional de Ucrania, Rustem Umerov, informó al New York Post que se van a reunir junto al enviado especial de Estados Unidos, a Steve Witkoff, y al yerno del presidente estadounidense, Donald Trump, a Jared Kushner. Y ambos van a planear informar al funcionario ucraniano sobre sus recientes conversaciones con el presidente ruso, Vladimir Putin. Esas que fueron celebradas durante el día de ayer en Moscú y que dicen que Umerov aceptó esa solicitud para participar en las conversaciones en Florida, en Miami, que se van a llevar a cabo esta semana, este jueves en concreto. La reunión en el Kremlin se prolongó durante 5 horas, pero concluyó sin acuerdo. El asesor presidencial ruso, Yuri Ushakov, calificó el intercambio de constructivo, al tiempo que enfatizó que se requieren más negociaciones. De momento, el presidente de Estados Unidos hoy confirmaba que esas conversaciones habían sido muy positivas.
President, switching to Venezuela for a second, have you checked back with President Maduro? I mean, is your pressure campaign working? And do you think how's your response?
You tell me, is it working? It's not pressure campaign. It's much beyond that, I think. But I spoke to him briefly, just told him a couple of things. We'll see what happens with that. Venezuela sends us drugs, but Venezuela sends us people that they shouldn't be sending. They emptied their prisons into our country.
Pues cita este jueves. En esta semana van a volver a reunirse el enviado especial de Estados Unidos, Steve Witkoff, y también Jared Kushner. Lo harán junto a Rustem Umerov, el asesor de seguridad nacional de Ucrania, para comentarle esos avances en las negociaciones que se llevaron a cabo durante el día de ayer en Rusia. Vamos a mirar ahora a la situación del espacio. El boom de satélites amenaza la astronomía. Miles de naves podrían arruinar la mitad de las imágenes de los telescopios espaciales. Lo que está pasando en el cielo no es ciencia ficción. Atención, porque el número de satélites se está disparando y sus reflejos podrían bloquear parte del universo. Ha sido justo la propia NASA la que ha alertado de que si nadie actúa, los telescopios espaciales podrían quedar prácticamente inutilizados. Vamos a mirar al número de satélites orbitando de la Tierra. Está creciendo a un ritmo sin precedentes, impulsados por los gobiernos y por las empresas privadas que ahora mismo están compitiendo por lanzar esas constelaciones de conectividad global, como por ejemplo la del Starlink. Hoy hay unos 15.000 satélites, pero podrían llegar a ser 100.000 en 2030 y hasta 500.000 a finales de la década si se aprueban todos estos proyectos. Según el estudio de la NASA que ha compartido durante el día de hoy, esta explosión provocará que los reflejos y estelas de los satélites contaminen las imágenes de los principales telescopios espaciales. Con 560.000 satélites en órbita, el 40% de las imágenes del Hubble quedarían afectadas. Y atención, porque hasta el 96% de las captadas por los futuros telescopios, como Sphere X o Arrakis o Shutine, incluso con 100.000 satélites, casi 1 de cada 5 imágenes del Hubble podrían sufrir contaminación lumínica. Los científicos hablan de vandalismo del cielo nocturno. Las estelas no solo arruinan fotos, también añadirían ruido que borra ya esas señales débiles fundamentales para poder estudiar las galaxias, las estrellas o incluso la materia oscura. Algunos proponen satélites con recubrimientos opacos o situarlos a menor altitud, pero esto también tiene efectos secundarios. Serían desde riesgos para la capa de ozono hasta la mayor basura espacial. La comunidad científica pide ya regulación internacional urgente. Es decir, el espacio se está llenando más rápido de lo que los gobiernos son capaces de legislar. Por eso apuntan a esta importancia en la galaxia, sobre todo de manera de que no pierdan y de que no pueda perder la NASA esas fotografías, esas imágenes del Hubble para continuar estudiando el cielo nocturno, y que precisamente la ONU y astrónomos están pidiendo regulación urgente con dientes. Además, el cielo nocturno siempre ha sido un recurso de común para la humanidad, pero si no se actúa pronto, ojo, porque las constelaciones de satélites podrían convertirlo en un espejo contaminado. El futuro de la astronomía y nuestra ventana del universo está en juego. Veremos a ver cuáles son los próximos pasos que da la NASA y los próximos informes acerca de esta documentación. Mirando también al presidente de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, este miércoles ha dicho que las conversaciones han sido muy buenas y que, según acaban de confirmar, este jueves se van a reunir, mañana se reunirán en Ucrania para poder continuar en Miami, en Florida, para continuar con las negociaciones, y esta vez será con Rustem Umerov. Según ha informado el New York Post, se van a reunir con el asesor de seguridad nacional de Ucrania para continuar avanzando en ese plan de paz para Rusia y Ucrania. Escuchen las palabras de Donald Trump en el momento en el que hoy precisamente decía que esas conversaciones con Putin habían sido muy buenas.
Mr. President, switching to Venezuela for a second, have you checked back with President Maduro? I mean, is your pressure campaign working? And do you think how's he responding?
You tell me, is it working? It's not pressure campaign. It's much beyond that, I think. But I spoke to him briefly, just told him a couple of things. We'll see what happens with that. Venezuela sends us drugs, but Venezuela sends us people that they shouldn't be sending. They emptied their prisons into our country.
Pues veremos en qué avanza mañana esas conversaciones en Florida, en Miami, con el asesor de Seguridad Nacional de Ucrania. Mientras tanto, vamos a continuar escuchando al CEO de Nvidia, Jensen Huang, que, por cierto, ha afirmado que la compañía no puede degradar los chips que vende a China para cumplir con las restricciones de Estados Unidos. Después de reunirse con el presidente Donald Trump en el Capitol Hill, Jensen Huang ha asegurado que Nvidia respalda los controles de exportación y que busca garantizar que las empresas estadounidenses tengan lo mejor, lo primero y lo máximo. Huang ha añadido que no está seguro de que China pueda aceptar los nuevos chips H200 de Nvidia. El CEO Jensen Huang afirma que Joe Rogan Experience, que las políticas energéticas del presidente Donald Trump han salvado la industria de la inteligencia artificial. Escúchenle.
I've given AIs to every one of my software engineers and hardware engineers and engineers, period. 100% of NVIDIA has AI assistants, AI coders, and they're busier than ever. And so the question is, what is the task versus what is the job? No different than a financial analyst. The task is mess around with spreadsheets, but the job is to make a financial advice. The job is to help a customer. The job is to analyze the market, make a prediction about the market. And so there's still, the human factor is still quite significant. And I would just tell everyone, before you decide that that AI is something that you're worried about or scared about, go engage it, go use it. And even in the humanities, the fact of the matter is without it, with AI today, my writing has improved. I don't think the quality is. It still writes in my taste and my ways, but my speed of writing has dramatically improved. And so I'm more productive today. I'm still writing the original pieces. I still have to write the original voice. I still have to create the original thought. But every so often, as you know, when we derive other speeches out of other previous speeches, the concepts are very similar, but the content, the delivery, the context is so different. We now can use AI to help us regenerate the first draft. So for me, for the humanities, I would just say original thought, original writing, your taste made with human hands are still always going to be valuable.
I went in for an MRI recently, and my wife said, make sure you take a picture. I don't think there's a brain up there, but I'd like to see it to prove there's something.
And what did you find out?
There was nothing. I mean, she was right and I was wrong. We're coming to the end, and you're in Washington. You don't. This isn't always a joyful experience to come to Washington, but share with us what your thoughts on how we should think about this remarkable revolution that's appearing in your world. You're leading it. We're going to experience it. We're probably going to try to regulate it. We don't know how to do that. But tell us just a little bit how you think we should be anticipating this and thinking about our future.
There are many, of course, that we spoke about many different things that Washington has been extraordinarily helpful in already shaping the outcome for our nation. We spoke about industrial policies and how, in fact, a heavy-handed approach was necessary, and it was just in time. it is the case that Washington, D.C. is foreign to me. And I've had the benefit of coming here now since the first time I saw you, our first night. And it's unnatural to me. However, what I can tell you is we all want the same thing. We want America to win. We want America to be the greatest nation in the world. Mm-hmm. We have extraordinary capabilities. It's hard not to be romantic about this country. My parents had the American dream. My father always wanted us to grow up in the United States. He sent us here when I was 9. And they had almost nothing to start a life here. And somehow through that journey,
worked out pretty good.
I'm here with the privilege of leading one of the most consequential companies in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
And you just can't write a better story than that.
Yeah.
You can't not be romantic about this country. I'm surrounded by extraordinary scientists. I'm surrounded by extraordinary people. All of our technology partners, the ecosystem that we have here. It is, I don't want to be complacent, but it is a miracle. That there's no question about it. And I have the benefit of working with every nation in the world. And so I think we can say for certain that we want the same. We want the same outcome for this nation. It is important, however, that I come here so that I could at least explain what is AI. It's 5 layers. I can explain what is impact, how is it going to evolve, and how certain policies, although on appearance might achieve whatever objectives, that the long-term consequences, the unintended consequences, could be quite dire for the United States. And so I have the benefit of at least explaining it from the perspective of technology, and help advocate for technology leadership so that we could secure our national security. And so I have that benefit, and I'm deeply grateful that the people I get to meet here in Washington, D.C. has always had an open door. And although this is new for me and I'm clumsy at it, I can also say that I'm very grateful that Washington has been very open to me.
I know the answer to this question, but I still want to ask it. Are you optimistic about the future?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. The best of days are ahead of us. I don't have to work. I think I've done,
I think that's true.
and Ambassador Rudd, when he first met me, all my hair was black, and now if you were to take an image of my brain, it could turn out to be the same color as yours, and so, but nonetheless, this is the one decade I will not miss.
Yeah.
I simply won't miss this decade. I don't want to miss this next 2 decades. We are going to do more for the advancement of science. We're going to do more for the advancement of industry. We are going to do more for this nation in the next 2 decades than potentially all of it combined in the past.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to miss that. This is the best of times.
I totally share. I think this is going to be the most marvelous period in humanity, and we're looking forward. Would you all say thank you with your applause?
Yeah, great to have you.
Buenos días. 8 de la mañana es la figura de China. Dicen que al oro le han bajado la tierra después de la jornada de ayer.
Seguimos en Negocios Televisión.
Mañana continuamos en Negocios Televisión.
Sean bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión.
Negocios Televisión.
Sobre todo intentando ver lo que Europa está poniendo encima de la mesa en esos ejercicios militares.
No te preocupes demasiado por la vida, que nadie sale vivo de ella. La primera causa hoy de muerte es la depresión, la tristeza. Más del 50% de la población tiene problemas mentales. ¿Pero qué estamos haciendo? Más del 80-90% de las preocupaciones de nuestra mente son cosas que no han pasado nunca ni pasarán. Hemos dejado de tocar, de abrazar. A un niño que no se le toca se muere. Todos buscamos amor.
Sí, pero yo no voy por la calle y solo veo esta imagen. Por la calle, andando.
El que diga que es positivo, miente. El 82% de la gente es pesimista. Porque tu mente está preparada para sobrevivir, no para vivir. Luego, lo primero que tienes que hacer en la vida es ser realistas con nosotros mismos. La primera característica de la gente que triunfa en la vida es el coeficiente de optimismo.
¿Qué hacemos con los juegos? Buenos días, 8 de la mañana es la figura de Charlie. Buenos días, 8 de la mañana. Dicen que al oro le han bajado la tierra después de la jornada de ayer.
Seguimos en Negocios Televisión.
Mañana continuamos en Negocios Televisión.
Sean bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión.
Negocios Televisión.
Sobre todo intentando ver lo que Europa está poniendo encima de la mesa en esos ejercicios militares.
No te preocupes demasiado por la vida, que nadie sale vivo de ella. La primera causa hoy de muerte es la depresión, la tristeza. Más del 50% de la población tiene problemas mentales. ¿Pero qué estamos haciendo? Más del 80-90% de las preocupaciones de nuestra mente son cosas que no han pasado nunca ni pasarán. Hemos dejado de tocar, de abrazar. A un niño que no se le toca se muere. Todos buscamos amor.
Sí, pero yo no voy por la calle y solo veo esta imagen. Por la calle, andando.
El que diga que es positivo, miente. El 82% de la gente es pesimista. Porque tu mente está preparada para sobrevivir, no para vivir. Luego, lo primero que tienes que hacer en la vida es ser realistas con nosotros mismos. La primera característica de la gente que triunfa en la vida es el coeficiente de optimismo.
¿Qué hacemos con los juegos?
Vamos a intentar conocer los principales catalizadores del mercado, qué es lo que le duele, lo que le preocupa a las bolsas. Vamos a saludar a Alberto Iturralde, responsable de Operativa DAX. ¿Qué tal, Alberto? Buenos días.
Muy buenos días.
¿Y los mercados de qué están pendientes? Recordemos, de las tensiones geopolíticas, de estos últimos datos macro que vamos a conocer, los PMI servicios, de las conversaciones para poner fin a la guerra en Ucrania, que son maratonianas y de momento están lejos de un acuerdo.
Bueno, están pendientes un poco de todo eso, pero sobre todo los mercados dependen a la hora de desplazarse del sentimiento real que hay en las bolsas. Cada vez que vemos un recorte, y lo hemos visto durante estas últimas semanas, inmediatamente todo el mundo que interviene en el mercado entra en una especie de estado bajista. Bueno, eso implica rebotes como el que hemos visto la semana pasada, sobre todo teniendo en cuenta que es un rebote el de la semana pasada de corte estacional. Es decir, cuando llega la semana de Acción de Gracias en Estados Unidos, el mercado suele ser alcista. Lo comentábamos la semana pasada así. Sin embargo, esta semana ya ha terminado. Y hay que recordar que el mínimo que veíamos hace semana y media, aquel problema de Nvidia, de las cuentas de Nvidia, no ha sido un mínimo en el que haya habido un gran pánico. Sí es cierto que cuando tenemos cierto recorte, el inversor se vuelve negativo, pero para tener subidas solventes, con fuerza, necesitamos más negativismo, más pánico. Globalmente el mercado está alcista, pero quizás ahora puntualmente necesitemos un poquito más de recorte para generar ese pánico puntual que permita a los bancos de inversión recoger más títulos de los inversores en pánico para hacer subir los mercados. Estamos ahora mismo en esa situación y de lo que realmente dependemos es del sentimiento de los inversores.
Y, por cierto, esos recursos ingentes que están destinando las grandes tecnológicas para la inteligencia artificial está, bueno, pues advirtiendo de una inminente escasez de chips de memoria. No digo que habemos burbuja, pero digamos que de seguir así, pues vamos a tener los dispositivos electrónicos más caros por culpa de la inteligencia artificial.
Hay que tener cuidado con los mensajes que llegan desde el mundo de la inteligencia artificial. Deberíamos aprender un poco de la lección que hemos vivido hace 2 semanas, porque justo cuando se presentan los resultados de Nvidia, que está muy implicada dentro del ámbito de la inteligencia artificial, justo al recibir los resultados, bueno, los resultados eran maravillosos. Bueno, y al día siguiente nos encontramos que reinterpretando los resultados eran malísimos. Oye, qué casualidad que justo entre una interpretación y la otra se produce un rebote importante, con buenos resultados, todo el mundo compra, una caída importante, es que los resultados no eran tan buenos, todo el mundo vende. Es decir, lo hace el mundo al revés. Los inversores se ven engañados. Con esto es lo mismo. Es decir, tenemos a todas las compañías de chips probablemente en zonas de sobrecompra, han subido mucho durante las últimas semanas y meses, y ahora se va enrutando el discurso hacia el sentimiento de los inversores en función de la inteligencia artificial. Hombre, compren empresas de chips porque hay escasez. Bien, ¿por qué no me lo decías eso hace 3, 4, 5 meses? Es decir, que igual lo que estamos viviendo es un mensaje interesado que utiliza el ámbito de la inteligencia artificial para que las compañías de chips realicen sus ventas, es decir, los núcleos duros de esas compañías, grandes compañías de chips, realicen las ventas de títulos que necesitan para ganar con un cierto recorte. Hay que tener mucho cuidado con los mensajes que llegan implicados en la bolsa. Porque sí, que una empresa que no está cotizada en bolsa nos diga que le va bien o que le va mal, bien. Pero cuando hay implicaciones bursátiles en el mensaje, hay que tener mucho cuidado porque no sabemos quién está detrás haciendo el negocio a nuestra costa.
Y, por cierto, Alberto, Donald Trump está alimentando el relevo de Jerome Powell al frente de la Reserva Federal. Parece que las quinielas, las apuestas hablan de Kevin Hassett. Parece que es el candidato favorito de Donald Trump.